is it fair to say that the investigation ran a little cold up until July of 2022 when Detective Burrell found that tire at 5239 Potomac Avenue?
Yes, that's correct.
When he found that tire, briefly give the jury an idea into the investigation that you began into a man named Henry Tenon.
Like I said, up until that point, we were kind of running out of leads. We didn't really know where to go. We were continuously trying to find this truck, but weren't having a whole lot of luck with it. So we start looking at just kind of ancillary people that we didn't think were going to be that really important to our overall investigation. And while Detective Lamont and Detective Burrell were interviewing Mr. Ordway at the Potomac address, Detective Burrell, as he's already testified to, found this tire. He thought the tire looked similar to the one that was left on the scene, so he decided to bring it back to the police station.
And you already previously testified that you were able to compare the DOT numbers and see that they were manufactured at the same factory the same week.
Correct.
I want you to give me a brief overview into your investigation into an individual by the name of Henry Tenon. What did you start pulling in regards to Mr. Tenon?
Well, we initially didn't know that Mr. Tenon was related to the tire until later we found out that we went back and talked to Mr. Ordway some more and said, hey, where did this tire come from? And we realized that Henry Tenon's father actually owned a blue Ford Lariat. And that's when we started making this connection that, oh, wow, this truck is the one that matches the one we're seeing on surveillance. The tire found on the road belonged to a Ford F-150 of the same make and model. So then we started looking into Mr. Tenon as far as his financials, toll records, our phone records, everything that we'd normally do when we start looking at somebody.
Did you you mentioned pulling his financial records. We're going to talk about that a little bit later, but did you also pull his phone records?
Yes, we did.
Did you identify him as having phone contact with the defendant, in this case, Mario Fernandez leading up to the homicide?
Yes.
And the jury's going to hear from a witness later about those phone records, but was that of significance to you in your investigation?
Yes, it was.
Did you identify Mr. Tenon as having lived at the house at 5239 Potomac Avenue at some point?
Yes, he was a prior tenant.
Were you able to figure out where he was living when he came onto your radar as a serious suspect in July of 2022?
He was still living at the same residence. He just wasn't the listed tenant.
And at this point, you had not identified the shooter that we saw on the compilation video earlier.
Correct.
But you were aware that the shooter that you saw on video appeared to be a tall black male.
Yes, that's correct.
Can you describe for the jury Mr. Tenon's physical appearance?
He is a very broad-shouldered, very tall black male.
Did you also did you consider interviewing Mr. Tenon as a suspect in the case at that point?
At that time, we felt like he was probably a very good chance that he was somehow at least involved in this. So when we have a suspect like that, what we like to do is kind of take a step back and learn as much about them as we can before we just go in and start questioning them.
And to learn as much about him as you can, did you interview people that were associated with him?
Well, first we pulled his financials and records and all that stuff, and then we started talking to the people who knew him.
Did that include individuals he worked with and his bosses at his job?
Yes.
Where did you discover Mr. Tenon worked when you were investigating him?
Sorry. Monis Pallets.
Where is Monis Pallets?
Maybe 1.5 miles, 2 miles from the Potomac residence.
So that would be in the northwest quadrant of Jacksonville, Florida?
That's correct.
At some point, did you decide to further your investigation by placing Henry Tenon under arrest for charges other than the homicide you were investigating?
Yes, part of, once we realized that he was a suspect and likely had some type of involvement in this, we did start surveilling him, and eventually we knew that he did not have a valid driver's license and had been a habitual traffic offender, so we decided at that point to go ahead and arrest him.
And what charges did you arrest him on?
Felony DWLS or driving while license is suspended, and then I believe he was also charged with having a firearm as a convicted felon.
And the firearm he had, was that a firearm you actually collected during his arrest?
Yes, it was, I believe it was actually ruled as an antique shotgun.
It was not a handgun or a 10mm firearm?
No.
Was it operable?
I don't believe so.
Did it meet the legal definition of firearm such that you all could proceed with that investigation?
No.
Briefly describe for the jury how it was that you came to get Mr. Tenon into custody.
We coordinated with the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office, since he lives in their jurisdiction, we kind of met with the Sheriff's Office, described how he was a suspect in our investigation. They agreed to essentially conduct the traffic stop and then bring him back to the Crime Gun Intelligence Center here at the State Attorney's Office so that we could interview him.
And the Crime Gun Intelligence Center is a substation of the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office?
Correct.
Basically?
Yes.
When you brought Mr. Tenon back, were you able to obtain a DNA swab from him?
Yes, we did.
And were you able to obtain a cell phone from his person?
Yes.
Your Honor, may I approach the witness?
Yes.
When you arrested Mr. Tenon in August for driving on a suspended license, what vehicle was he driving?
He was driving a white Ford Crown Victoria.
Did he have a set of keys in his pocket?
Yes, he did.
And did those keys belong to a Crown Vic?
No.
What vehicle did they belong to?
The Ford F-150.
I'm showing you what's been marked as and entered into evidence as State's Exhibit 192. Can you tell me what this is?
Those are the truck keys.
And are these truck keys you recovered from the person of Mr. Tenon during his arrest?
Yes.
And I'm showing you what's been entered into evidence as State's Exhibit 95. Is this a swab of Mr. Tenon's cheek?
Yes.
And is this how you obtain an individual's DNA?
Yes.
And did you or one of your detectives, did you take the swab yourself?
I collected the swab.
And then here we have what's been entered into evidence as State's Exhibit 127. Is this a cell phone that you took off Mr. Tenon's person during his arrest in August of 2022?
Yes.
Do you remember the date he was arrested for the DWLSR?
I'd have to check the exact date. I know it was in August, but you want me to check?
Sure.
It was August 18th.
August 18th, 2022. And then I'm also showing you State's Exhibit 193. Is this a swab that was taken from those silver Ford keys that were recovered from Mr. Tenon's person during his arrest on August 18th?
Yes.
Once you collected those keys, these swabs, and Mr. Tenon's cell phone, were you able to do search warrants for cellular site location information for the number associated with the phone that you recovered?
Yes, we did.
Were you able to do a forensic download of that cell phone?
Yes.
We'll hear more about that later from a different witness, the expert witness on that. But overall, in general, did the cell site data from Mr. Tenon's cell phone place him in Jacksonville Beach the night of February 16th, 2022?
Yes, it did.
And did you send Mr. Tenon's DNA swab to the lab at ATF for comparison against the swab from the tire recovered from the crime scene and the swab of his vehicle keys?
Yes, we did.
What were the results that were relayed to you, was Mr. Tenon's DNA included on that tire and those keys?
Yeah, not using the language the analysts
Well,
would
they're going to
probably
hear
use.
from the DNA expert, but
Yes, it was basically a match.
in terms of your investigation, were you able to confirm at that point, based on the cell site location data, the appearance of the shooter on camera, and those DNA results, that Henry Tenon, you believed at that point in your investigation to be the shooter?
Yes, that's correct.
So did you obtain a search warrant for Henry Tenon's belongings at 5239 Potomac Avenue?
Yes.
And do you recall what date it was that you executed the search warrant at Potomac Avenue?
I'm just going to look at my record real quick. It's been in October. It was October 5th.
Okay. I'm showing you, I'm going to go through some photographs fairly quickly and go through some items you collected at the house. This is States 101. Is this 5239 Potomac Avenue?
Yes, it is.
And does this picture accurately and fairly depict how the house looked and the appearance of the house in October of 2022?
Yes, it is.
And in States 102, are we just seeing another view of that home?
Correct. This is the angle from the other side of that vehicle.
States 103, is this the entrance of the house?
Yes.
Entryway into the home?
Correct.
104, we see some bedrooms and we see that the tile has been ripped up off the floor.
Correct.
105, there is, how many bedrooms are in this house total?
I believe there are 3 bedrooms. This is just another view of that same hallway.
All right. 106, as I go through these, if you could just briefly narrate for the jury.
Yeah, this is just the bathroom.
107,
One of the other bedrooms.
108.
Another bedroom.
In States 109, was there mail for this address in Mr. Tenon's name at the residence?
Correct.
110, more mail in Mr. Tenon's name. 111, what is this we're looking at?
This is just the kitchen.
112.
Another picture of the bathroom.
113, we see the bathroom and the sink is broken.
Correct.
States 114, is this the interior of the garage?
That's correct.
115, another view of the garage.
Yes.
116, inside the garage looking out.
Yes.
117, if you're standing inside the garage, the left-hand side of the garage.
Correct.
States 118. Were you directed to this particular area by the current tenants of the home who had moved in after Mr. Tenon's arrest?
He stated that that's where a lot of Mr. Tenon's belongings have been placed.
Okay, so you specifically were looking in the garage in this area based on what these tenants told you where to look.
That's correct.
In 119, we see one boot. Was that boot later collected by evidence technicians that were present with you during the execution of the search warrant?
Yes.
And 119, I'm sorry, that was 119, 120?
Correct. The boot.
121, what are we seeing?
Just another angle of the boot.
122.
Correct.
And 123 is the back of those boots.
That's correct.
May I approach the witness, Your Honor?
Yes.
What was significant about these boots that made you all collect them?
They appeared to match the same boots that were in the video collected from Grande of the gentleman walking away from the crime scene.
And by gentleman, you mean the individual, the shooter?
Yes.
Yeah, somebody's going to have to help me with this. Uh-oh. Okay. Just right here is fine. You can put it right here for now.
Sure.
Detective Johns, if you stand up, can you see the boots that are here?
I can see them.
Okay.
Those are the same boots we collected.
These are the boots that are collected. And you believe them to be consistent with the boots you can see on the shooter on the surveillance video the jury's watched previously?
That's correct.
Did you also collect a jacket in the home?
Yes.
And why did you collect, well, you collected several jackets, but in particular in examining these jackets afterwards, and this is States 128, what was significant about this particular jacket?
It also appeared to match the jacket that was being worn by the shooter.
I'm not sure. Could you do that? I think when he was answering, there's some.
Yes, that appeared to be the same jacket that was being worn by the shooter in the video.
I'm going to go through the rest of these photos fairly quickly. States 124, is that the cell phone that you previously identified?
That's another cell phone, I believe.
I'm sorry, you're correct. Did you also collect a cell phone in the belongings of Henry Tenon? You took one off his person in August, and in October, did you find one with his belongings in the garage?
Yes, that's correct.
And this is a cool pad cell phone. Did you also send this to the computer forensics unit with the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office for forensic examination?
Yes, we did.
We'll hear more about that later. The jury's going to hear from ATF about the recovery of the blue two-toned truck. But I want you to explain to the jury how it was that you eventually located the suspect vehicle in this case.
Once I received Mr. Tenon's financial records, I located a transaction for a tow service. We then used his toll records and his data, location data, to basically see where he was at on that day, and we were able to track down the location of the truck.
And where was the truck located?
It was off of, it was at his friend's house, Mr. Jones' residence off University. I don't remember the exact address. I can look for you.
Did you actually go to the search warrant for that truck?
Yes, I did.
To recover the truck?
Yes.
Okay. Was that at 1705 University Street?
Yes.
And was that truck sealed, towed, and processed at the Jacksonville Beach Police Department's secured lot?
Yes, it was.
And were you present for the processing of that truck?
Yes.
I'm going to go through some. This is States 144. It's a picture of those keys I just showed you. Were you able to unlock the vehicle with those keys?
Yes.
We're seeing here States Exhibit 145. Is this the Ford F-150 that you recovered at 1705 University Street and processed at Jacksonville Beach?
Yes, that's correct.
And we can see that it is, in fact, a Ford two-toned F-150. And does this truck have a tag number that matches the registration to Henry Tenon's father, Henry Clement Tenon?
Yes, it does.
States 147, we see that the vehicle has been sealed. Is that what these stickers indicate?
That's correct.
States 148 is the bed of the truck.
Correct.
States 149, what are we looking at here?
It was a spare tire that was underneath the truck.
And States 150.
It's the interior from the driver's door.
States 151.
The rear seat from the driver's side.
And States 152.
The box that is believed to have contained the boots.
And Mr. Mizrahi is going to Vanna White for me and show you what's been marked as Exhibit 168. Is that the box collected from the vehicle?
Yes, it is.
Or was the box collected from the vehicle? Exhibit 153, what are we looking at here?
It's the passenger side front seat.
States 154.
Passenger side back seat.
States 155. Can you explain to the jury what you found in the truck that you believe to be of evidentiary value and led to further investigation?
So if you've ever had business checks, they typically come with a stub that the business owner can retain so they can write a record of who they wrote the check to. This was found inside the truck and is basically the stub off of 3 business checks, but all 3 of them are still intact.
I'm going to show this. This is States Exhibit 167. Are these the 3 check stubs that you recovered in the vehicle?
Yes, they are.
The same ones depicted in this photograph. were you able to find the corresponding deposits for those check numbers in Mr. Tenon's financial records?
Yes.
And you're going to testify a little bit later about that, but to spoil the ending, were those checks written to Mr. Tenon by the defendant in this case, Mario Fernandez?
Yes, they were.
Okay, and we're seeing in States 156 a photograph of a steering wheel. Was the interior of Mr. Tenon's vehicle swabbed for the presence of DNA?
Yes, it was.
How many swabs were there approximately taken that day?
Dozens.
I'm going to ask you about one in particular, States Exhibit 169. This is a swab from the steering wheel taken by an evidence technician, Ashley Hawkins. Were you present when she took the swabs of the interior of the vehicle, including this one of the steering wheel?
Yes, I was. And yes, that is it.
And did you also submit these swabs, and in particular this one, to ATF for forensic testing?
Yes, we did.
And as I stated, we'll hear from the analyst, but were you also advised at some point during your investigation that Henry Tenon's DNA was included on this swab from the steering wheel as depicted in States 156?
Yes.
States 157, what are we looking at here?
There's contents inside the vehicle, or from the vehicle.
States 158?
Same thing, statement for child support, I believe.
States 158, and that is under the name of Henry Tenon with the address of 5239 Potomac Ave.
Correct.
States 159, we see that there was some mailers in Mr. Tenon's vehicle in the name of Mario Fernandez with the address of 5239 Potomac Ave.
That's correct.
And those could
Junk
be
mail.
junk mail. States 160, are these more items from the interior of the vehicle?
Correct.
States 161, we see a JEA bill for Henry Tenon at 5239 Potomac.
Yes, that's correct.
And again, we see in States 152 another JEA bill for Henry Tenon at 5239 Potomac.
Yeah, it's the same bill, just a different photo.
And here, the vehicle registration for the Ford F-150 under Henry Clement Tenon was actually located inside this truck.
That's correct.
Here we see, is that a picture of that here in States 163?
Yes.
And did you do investigation into Mr. Tenon's father, Henry Clement Tenon?
We knew he was deceased, but no, we didn't really do any kind of investigation.
That was my question. Was he alive during the murder of Jared Bridegan?
No.
He had passed away prior to Jared's death.
That's correct.
We see in States 164, IRS paperwork for Henry Tenon at 5239 Potomac Ave. And
That's
then
correct.
What are we seeing here in States 165?
It's a paycheck stub from Monis & Pallets for Mr. Tenon.
And it says Henry Tenon, 5239 Potomac Avenue, earnings for piecework. Was he paid by the piece, I guess, for his labor at Monis & Pallets?
As I understand it, yes. So
What are we seeing here in States 166?
it's for probably be an ATM receipt for a cash withdrawal from PNC Bank.
And so this ATM receipt was located in the blue Ford F-150?
That's correct.
And the date and transaction for this
March.
transaction, you'll testify about that later. States Exhibit 200, who is this?
That's Mr. Henry Tenon.
So as you were collecting this information and receiving cell site data results, placing Mr. Tenon in Jacksonville Beach the night of Jared Bridegan's murder, DNA results for the tire left at the crime scene, the truck and the keys, and other information, did you make the decision to arrest Henry Tenon for the murder of Jared Bridegan?
Yes, we did.
Did you immediately arrest him after receiving this information?
No.
Can you explain to the jury what investigative technique or step you decided to utilize concurrent with the arrest of Henry Tenon?
We decided to use the arrest as what they call a tickle, because we were going to do a T3 wire, or what is commonly referred to as a wiretap, on people that we believed were also involved in the homicide.
So this is the last area of your testimony we're going to get to today. And I want to ask you a little bit about what a wiretap is. Can you explain to the jury what a wiretap is?
It is the most intrusive thing that the government could probably do to a person, and that is to listen to your private phone conversations. It's something that we take very seriously. There's a long process. A written affidavit has to go before the state attorney, who has to sign off on it, and then go before a judge. And only then, if it's approved, do we get the authorization to listen to these telephone conversations.
In this case, when did you decide to arrest Mr. Tenon? What was the, target date for his arrest to complete this wiretap?
I believe it was in August. Do you mind if I check my notes here?
I'm sorry, not the decision to seek the wiretap, the date that Mr. Tenon was going to be arrested while the wiretap was up and running.
Give me 1 second, just want to check my notes. It was in January 25th that he was arrested, and that was what we used to kind of get the wire going.
So you mentioned that a wiretap is probably the most intrusive act the government can do to its own citizens. How do you get authority to conduct a wiretap? Do you just set it up and...
Basically, you have to prove that you've tried everything else possible to solve a crime and that nothing else has really kind of worked. But you have to also kind of show that people have a tendency to talk about a crime. That's not really generally true of homicides. However, we had seen in past times that the other suspects that we were targeting had talked about the homicide. So we basically drafted an affidavit that said, hey, we've tried everything we can to bring this case to justice. We've been unsuccessful at doing so. We do believe that by this specific action will generate conversations that will be relevant to our investigation, not just any conversation. And then we basically write an affidavit stating all of this, how we plan to do it, and then rules are drafted as to what we can listen to, what we can't listen to, and usually for a very specific period of time.
Who runs the wiretap?
I mean, it is really the judge's wiretap.
You have to seek judicial approval to go up on a wire.
That's correct.
And in this case, did you seek judicial approval to go up on a wire for several persons of interest and or suspects?
Yes, we did.
And what were the names of the individuals that you were seeking approval for to wiretap their phones?
Shanna Gardner, Mr. Fernandez, a couple of Ms. Gardner's siblings or associates, Kim Jensen, Jeremy Ordway, John Biggerstaff.
And those were individuals that were relevant to your investigation that you believed would communicate with each other?
That's correct.
The focus for wiretap is on specific individuals, but do you just put their names in the affidavit? How do you identify who you'll be listening to?
Well, first we have to basically identify that the number that we have for that person is actually associated with that person. That is their actual telephone number. We also have to identify the individual and make sure that we're targeting the right person. We're not listening to someone else's conversations. And so basically that's all part of the affidavit that would be put in front of the judge.
Are you allowed to listen to everything people are talking about on a wiretap?
No, they're basically, there'd be people who would be trained with certain guidelines that would be issued by the court as to what you can and can't listen to. They might listen to a very small snippet of a conversation. If it's determined that the conversation is basically irrelevant to our investigation, then they would stop listening for a little while. And then if the conversation were to go on, then they might listen again to make sure that it's still a relevant conversation. but they're only listening for things that are actually relevant to our actual investigation.
And who determines the guidelines for when you can listen and not listen to a conversation?
That'd be all part of the stipulations that the judge would stipulate.
So the judge gives you parameters for what you can and can't listen to.
That's correct.
Are those time related and content related?
Correct. It'd be something like, oh, you can listen for so many seconds. If you determine that they're having a relevant conversation, you need to stop listening maybe for a minute or two. Then you can go back and check the phone call. Same thing, if they start off talking about a relevant topic, but then stop talking about it, you can only listen for so many seconds and then you would need to stop.
And are there fail-safes and protections in place to prevent you from intercepting privileged communications?
Any number that we knew that would be a privileged person that we knew about, we would program that into the software, and that would automatically block those calls from coming up on the listener's screen. If it was a conversation our number that we missed, and it was realized, as soon as it was realized, they would stop recording the call.
You mentioned earlier a phrase, tickle the wire. Can you explain to the jury what that means?
It's an event that is basically prearranged by law enforcement, so it spurs conversation about the actual crime that we're trying to record.
And the event that you're going to use to spur conversation, does that also have to be outlined in the affidavit and approved by the judge?
Yes, it does.
In this case, in January of 2023, you said you were going to use the arrest of Henry Tenon to spur conversation or tickle the wire.
That's correct.
How was that plan in place to come about? What was the mode of communicating to these suspects that Henry Tenon was arrested or going to be arrested?
A news conference was going to be held announcing the arrest of Henry Tenon for the murder of Jared Bridegan.
A news conference was going to be held by whom?
Jack's Beach Police.
And was that news conference planned in order to elicit conversation?
Yes, it was.
And can you explain to the jury how it was that you disseminated that information out into the community?
We disseminated it through the media.
So you announced to the media you were having a press conference. What did you tell the media that you were going to do?
Well, I think it was basically told in advance, hey, there's a big break coming in the case. So they would have basically getting them interested in wanting to report on it. And then after that, we would do the announcement.
So the event or the tickling of the wire was telling the media that you were going to have a press conference and announce a big break in regards to the Jared Bridegan case?
Correct.
And did you have that press conference?
Yes.
Were you up on the wire before the press conference?
Yes.
And did you intercept any calls, and I'm going to speak specifically in relation to this defendant, Mario Fernandez, during that wiretap?
Yes, we did.
During that wiretap, after the media announced to the community at large that there was a big break in the Jared Bridegan case, did you intercept, observe, or otherwise find any communications between Mr. Fernandez and Ms. Gardner?
No.
At that point, based on your investigation, were you also surveilling these people real time?
Yes, we were.
And why are you surveilling individuals that you're seeking a wiretap for?
To make sure that you're not intercepting the conversation of somebody else, or if you're basically, that's the biggest reason.
At the time you conducted the wiretap and had surveillance and eyes on Mr. Fernandez and Ms. Gardner, where were they physically located in the country?
Ms. Gardner was in Washington State, and I believe Mario was in Orlando at that point. I don't remember if it was in Jacksonville or in Orlando at that point.
They were not living together.
No.
Following the arrest of Henry Tenon and that wiretap, did you later seek an indictment against Mario Fernandez for the murder of Jared Bridegan?
Yes, we did.
And did you all effectuate that indictment and arrest him in March of 2023?
Yes.
Did you hold another press conference then?
I don't believe so.
When you arrested Mr. Fernandez, did you obtain a phone off of his person.
Yes.
May I approach the witness, Your Honor?
Yes.
I'm showing you what's been marked and entered into evidence of State's Exhibit 184. It's a Samsung Galaxy A13. It has a case on it. Is this the phone that was taken from the person of Mr. Fernandez during his arrest?
I'm not sure if that was the phone that was taken. Let's see. Yes, that was.
If I grabbed the wrong phone.
That was the phone. It is his phone. Yes.
It's Mr. Fernandez's
Yes.
phone. 184. When you obtained Mr. Fernandez's phone, did you also submit it to the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office Computer Forensics Unit for a forensic download?
Yes, we did.
I have one last thing to show you before we conclude with you for now. I want to show you what's been entered into evidence of State's Exhibit 194. It is a video dated January 25th, 2023. Is that the day that you all arrested Henry Tenon for the murder of Jared Bridegan?
Yes.
And we're seeing a room or building here. What area, location is this that we see?
That is the CJIC office.
The Crime Gun Intelligence Center.
Yes.
And I'm going to play this video. It doesn't have sound. It's audio only.
You mean video?
There's no audio. And we can see some people in this video. Is this yourself that we see and your partner, Detective Lamont?
Yes, that's correct.
And this video in the upper right-hand corner says Axon Body 2. Is this being recorded with a video camera or a phone or a body camera?
It's a JSO body camera.
Does Jacksonville Beach have body cams?
At this time, no.
Okay. And we see an individual here where at 15:34:18 in the timestamp, who is the individual we see walking in the green jumpsuit?
Mr. Henry Tenon.
And Detective Johns, what was the purpose behind having JSO record Mr. Tenon on body cam walking after his arrest?
He has a very unique gait or style of walking, and that was to show that it matched the style of walking that was on the surveillance video from Grotto.
I'm showing you one last slide. This is State's, is this a slide that you or one of your teammates spliced together of different surveillance clips that you recovered from February 16, 2022?
Yes, that's correct.
And this is State's, this is a composition of several clips that were included in a video the jury's already seen, State's Exhibit 91. And we just saw Mr. Tenon walking, and this is a video showing video footage of the shooter walking. And you all made this in order to compare the gait of Mr. Tenon to the gait of the individual you see here.
That's correct.
And here in this video, you were referencing earlier that you collected some boots and a jacket that appeared consistent with video footage that you had obtained.
That's correct.